Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Now today I'm going to be showing you how I made this card. You may have seen this already on Facebook or on my Instagram. My Facebook group is called Paper Crafting with Paul. I'll link it in the description below and my Instagram account. I've only just started Instagram, so bear with me, I'm still learning. And you may have seen as well in the Knitwit neighbourhood, because I've been using one of the new Knitwit kits called Yuletide Cheer to make this one. Now it's just a little twist on a spanner card. Now a spanner card is a card which has got a channel down the middle and then a little arm that spans across both. So I think that's where it's got its name. But instead of having it like this, like most I've seen, we're going to go this way. So it's a portrait mode, so a vertical spanner. So you've got your front, you've got also an extra bit which you can put more decoration on if you wish, but I've kept it quite basic because this is a perfect one for Christmas because it's got a little twist to it, but it's also flat. By all means you can decoupage it up and go to town with flowers and anything you want. But if you wanted a card which is going to post but also has a bit of interest, I think this is a perfect card to do. So as I said, I used Yuletide Cheer for this one. And for the one I'm making today, I've just used some different papers. So it's exactly the same kit, but I've just chosen some different elements and different papers to go in different places and different colorways. Now, if these colors are not your thing, so this is the bluer one, this is the greener one. They've also just brought out Yuletide Joy, and that's more of your traditional reds and greens. So Yuletide Joy then was an easy one to make because I'd already, because it's a digital kit, had all the measurements in my program in Microsoft Publisher, so I just double clicked, changed them to the Yuletide Joy. So I'll be making that one at some point too, so keep an eye out for that. So let's just put this to one side and we're going to grab a piece of cardstock. So I'm going for white today, a bit of a change from my usual black, and you'll need a trimmer or a guillotine. Now it's a 5x7 card. Those who followed me before know I like this size because then I can just buy 5x7 envelopes and make all these different shaped cards to go in them. So I've got my A4 cardstock, portrait mode, so the long bits coming down, and I'm going to cut it at 7. And now you'll be able to see the card. My spanner bit is 1.5 inches. So I'm going to cut that off first. It's easier to do it now rather than fiddling with a smaller piece later on. And then 10 inches. So this is my card base. So that's all you've got left over then. So you've got your main card and you've got your spanner. Now if you've got a trimmer like mine, it's really, really easy. If not, you can use a paper and pencil and you can mark 2 lines across. Now I've gone for 1 3/4 for my 2 bits, top and bottom. So 1 3/4. So I'm just taking my 7-inch side and I've got my 1 and 1 to 3/4 inches lined up here. And I'm going to place my trimmer at 5 inches. Press it down, engage it, and slice. And on the other side, I'm going to line it up at 1 3/4 again. Take it back to 5, engage it, and slice. That's all the cutting you're going to do. So I'm going to bring in my scoreboard and I'm going to score down at 5 inches. So I'm just going to fold all 3 of these back on themselves. And fold them. Okay. If you find that tricky, another way is to simply make your card base and fold first. So we're going to do, was it 1.5? Yeah, 1.5. And then 10 inches. You can do your scoring first. So score it down at 5. Then fold it in half and crease it now. Then back to your trimmer. It just means you're going back and forth to your trimmer and scoreboard. But still not too much faff, especially if you're bulk making, because now you don't even have to think about the 5. You're just going to line it up with the score line. So here's my score line. Those side bits are just going to point to my score line and cut. Okay. Both ways you'll get the same results. So let's just burnish these a little bit more. So in fact, I could just decorate both of them now, couldn't I? Okay, so shall we go for the joy then? For decorating now, that's all I'm going to do is each element of my card, I'd measure and the length and the height and just take away 1/4 inch. So this is 5 inches, so it's 4 3/4. So it'll be 4 3/4 that way and 1 1/2 that way. And you've got another one of those. I should do, I think I might have lost mine. Here it is, found it on the floor. There we go. So in fact I can glue these on right now. So I'm just lining it in the middle. Now if you haven't got a digikit, that's all you're doing is cutting your background papers to this bit and then working out your own topper. Okay. Then the central panel here is 4 3/4 again, and we've been left with a space there, so we need a 3 1/4 inches tall for this bit. So you're just cutting your decorative paper. Now I've done the mat and layering digitally, nothing stopping you having plain cardstock and your printed paper or your designer paper there. So you need to decorate the front before you put your spanner on. So here's my spanner, and it's 7 inches tall. So my decorative piece is 6 3/4. It was 1 1/2 inches wide. Up to you. If you wanted to make a thicker one, go for it. I wouldn't go much narrower because you're going to lose the sturdiness in your card. So that makes my decorative piece 1 1/4. So 6 3/4 by 1 3/4. And now, I'm just going to grab my score tool, just because I haven't got a pencil nearby, and I'm just going to mark those cut lines, because I don't want glue in that central piece. So I'm going to attach some glue in that square, just down to where I've marked here, but I've left a little gap, so I'm not going too close, just in case it spreads. And I'm pretty much ensuring then I'm not sealing my card shut. So now, just going to eyeball it here. Dropped it. And just line it up. Just get rid of that glue from where I dropped it. Try not to do that. There we go. So there's my spanner. So when I open it up, I've got these two pieces, which are the same as the front. But this time I've just gone for a different paper. In my original, I think I kept the same. I just printed 2 lots of the same one. So they were the same front and back. But this time I thought, let's show off even more of the papers in the kit. So these were, what were they, 4 3/4 by 1.5. And this is my 4 3/4 by 3.25, so it's the same size as this, because it's just decorating the back. Which way? Is there a way up for the poinsettias? I don't think so. There we are. Just burnish it down. And then I've got a large piece here. I'm just going to ink the edge. Because it had a white border, I have just taken some black soot and gone around the edge, just to give it a little shadow and definition. So this is just one of the journal cards then, made to be 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. Which is just a perfect mat for a 5x7 card front as well. So if you wanted to make a quick card, there you go. That would be a perfect card front, just as it is. Okay, so this is where now you need to be a little bit careful, because you don't want to glue this and seal it shut. Now, I'm going to put mine so that the 2 corners of the tags are in line with my cut, if that makes sense. Now, I'm going to bring it down a little bit. So I'm going to put glue on the top and glue on the bottom. And then glue, am I going to cover it all? Yeah, so I'm going to cover it all so I can just spread some glue. So just use your topper to try and work out where you can place this, where you're not sealing your card shut. And there you go. So this is just one simple tag from the Yuletide Joy kit. And as I said, I've kept it flat. Nothing stopping me printing off a second one, decoupaging up the bow and the sentiment if you wanted some extra dimension. So again, whilst it's here, let's see how quick it is really to assemble when you're not talking it through and thinking about the measurements. So once you've printed one, if you're using a DigiKit, you can just print off another one. You're not worried about measurements or anything like that. So I can put my back piece in. Remember, I've got to do these 2 before I do my spanner. So this time I've gone for more of the green papers. So the first one was with the navies. So I kept the navy background, just changed up and used more of the different papers. And you know what? There are still so many in that kit I haven't used. Despite, I think I've made quite a few cards with it. But I do love the plaids. So I think the plaid has been on every one of the spanner cards I've done so far. And I think they'll even appear in my next video too. So this is my spanner. So let me just... Let's risk it this time. I'm not going to mark it. I'm just going to... There we are. There's the spanner. Let's go for the plaid on the front. So I wouldn't decorate this front necessarily. You could put a sentiment there because it's going to be hidden behind this anyway, and you don't want it to be too busy there. But I suppose you could put something there because it's going to be behind there. Depends how many of these cards you're going to be making, especially at Christmas time, isn't it? Let's have a look. Yeah, these teals or greens, whichever way you want to go, are really, really nice. There we go. I've got one piece. I went for the snowflake paper this time. And to the front. So we're going to do the top of my topper, the bottom of my topper, and down my spanner element. And there we go. And there you have your vertical spanner card. So my original one. Then using the same kit, but you can see totally different feel. And then the Yuletide Joy version. So remember, these aren't just Christmas ones, they could be done for any occasion. So now that you've seen how I made it, head off, have a go, and please share your versions with me in my Facebook group, Paper Crafting with Paul. And if you enjoyed this video, please give me that thumbs up. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe. It does mean a lot. It helps my channel to grow. So please help with that. And yeah, I cannot wait to see your versions. They're nice, easy, effective, but something a little bit different. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again soon.